Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and I've probably piqued your interest with the title of this video, but this could quite possibly be the best, cheaper MWS gas blowback rifle that there is out there. So let's get the boring stuff out of the way first. This is a gun licensed by EMG, but it's actually the Double Eagle model. So they do two. So the other one I think is made by Cyma, and it's got like the T8 system parts in there, which I've heard various things. Some say they aren't very good. Others say that those parts are a bit proprietary. They don't, play well with aftermarket stuff. So, but this is the Double Eagle one, and from what I was told, this is pretty much a carbon copy of a Tokyo Marui MWS. I was also told that they'd loosely copied the Guns Modify PMags. But yeah, as you see, it's in this lovely Noveske body. Now, just for, if you wanted a Noveske N4 like this, the only way to really do it beforehand was to go buy an MWS. You pay, what, £600-700 in today's market. You go buy the kit, that's another £600-700 on top of that from Dytac. And I don't know if that comes with everything that you need, but you get a conversion kit. I'm not sure if it comes with the grip and the stock, so you have to correct me down in the comments below if you know. So you're about £1,400 in, and that isn't including any maybe potential upgrade you want to do, like hot rubber and barrel and other bits and pieces like that. So you're £1,400 in to get this rifle at MWS that looks like this. Now, this rifle from Double Eagle, licensed by EMG, retails. I've seen various retailers up and down the UK selling this for between £500 and £600. However, and this isn't a plug because I used to have something to do with it, I saw it pop up just as anyone. I don't have any, any kind of relationship with Bespoke Airsoft anymore. But if you jump onto Bespoke Airsoft's website, the guys down there are retailing these at the moment for £349 retail price. So 350 quid, you can get yourself an MWS copy, which has all this lovely Noveske style into it, and you're in the MWS game, and you're 350 quid in. That's half of what you could buy two of these for what a standard Marui MWS is going to cost you, depending on where you go, and obviously the price differences. So this is how it comes in the box. The box is just a black box. It has Noveske written in big letters on the front there, and it's got the usual Double Eagle foam inside. You get these little backup sights separately, as well as you get like a little speed loader adapter, but it's like a generic one. It's not very good at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly shove the backup iron sights on, and we'll get into this little review here. So I need an Allen key. So let me find one of those, get these on, and then we'll carry on with the review. Turns out there was one pretty much right in front of me, but let's get this taken out. Just 2.5mm Allen key. Pop that on there, line that up. Are you going to go on? There we go. Let's pop the nut back in on the other side. So it's nice that they include these in the box. You're probably going to put like some kind of little red dot or an optic on there, but if you're skimping and those bits are going to come a little bit later on, perhaps you haven't got the budget, or you're just waiting for it to be delivered, so you want to just get to plinking this thing, which you can do. These, they're okay. They're kind of what you'd expect from a cheaper branded rifle. However, the gun itself, obviously you can tell there's quality differences compared to a Marui MWS. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to make a prediction here and say that this will run pretty well. The downsides I can see with this are probably going to be the magazines and the hop and the barrel combos, just from what I've seen. They do have like Geisley style charging handle, which again is extra money that you need to put on top if you build an MWS. So it's a Geisley style, but it's got all the Noveske markings on there. There is a little bit of side travel on this, and I will be comparing this to an MWS in just a moment. But it works. The dust cover here opens, and then you've got 300 BLK for 300 blackout. The bolt is silver in colour. I think there's a bit of gas in this magazine, so let's just give it a dry fire. Yeah, it's empty. We've got another mag. Just quickly, I've got an MWS mag here. A lot more gas in that, as you can imagine. And I tell you what, just off that little test alone, that fires better in full auto than any of like WE's offerings that they've given throughout the years. Honestly, it's quite impressive. So you get a PMag with it. They're meant to be 35 rounds. Now, when I was filling this up earlier, I managed to get 37 in there. But as always, as I say, with all the magazines, you're always best filling them all the way up to the top, especially if you're using one of my funky speed loaders. And just take the top round out just to preserve your nozzle. Because if you load these up with BBs to the point where you can't compress it and you slam it in, you're slamming that BB straight into the loading arm on your nozzle. And unfortunately, that's how Mr. Mustang broke my M733 when he took it to Belgium. But let's have a quick look at this thing. I do have a magnet because I'm told there's quite a few steel components on this. Obviously, the flash hider is steel. Body pins, steel. Obviously, the screws probably only going to be steel. The castle nut for the stock is made out of steel. The trigger is steel. The mag release is steel on both sides. So mag release and the button. The bolt release is steel. The selector is steel. There is a lot of steel components, and that's quite nice to have on such a cheap gun. Now, you know, retail £349, honestly. You know, the Z style plate, I'm not going to call it a Z plate because it's a copy, but the Z style plate of the system, the hammer, the sears, everything that this can touch, apart from obviously the trigger box casing, is steel. Do we have the valve knocker is steel as well, so there's a lot of steel components on this. You can tell that these bodies are cast in a cheaper way, but honestly, it's not really that bad at all. It's better than a lot of their other stuff that they've brought out over the years. All the markings are pretty damn clear. I bet these pins are steel as well. Yeah, even the little fake pins. All steel, which is good news. It does have the 2-seer style system. I'll be interested to see how compatible that is with an MWS box. The markings, as you can see here, are very good. The upper, the forward assist is not steel, neither is the dust cover. But, you know, they do look a little bit plastic comparison to the rest of the parts, but it's not an expensive part to replace if you wanted to put something else on there. Obviously, the bolt is going to be some kind of cast aluminium mix. This, I'm not too sure. It does look like it does have or has had an impact on there at some point. It might be stainless. The pin is steel. This can rotate, so usually the way with the MWS is they'll have the pin, and maybe that's a lot backwards, and when you tighten it up, it puts a little indent on the blowback weight, and it holds it in place from moving. So, and of course the catch for the bolt and the Z plate is steel as well. So a lot of steel components, nice to see. The hop is where you'd expect it on, you know, a Marui. Let's get a little screwdriver, and we push it to the front of the gun for off, I believe, and then we wind it to the back of the gun to put hop on. You guys will have to let me know if you want me to do a full disassembly of this thing. We'll pull all the components out. It'd be nice to see if that's just a carbon copy of a MWS hop, because then we can just put like a flamingo rubber in, a nice barrel and a tighter nub, and we can be on our way. Now the charging handle it's a little bit rough, but you know, it's a part that I do have. I think this is an MTR 16 charge handle. It does go in, although it doesn't quite go in far enough to latch onto the upper receiver. So you just have to, you know, alleviate that a little bit with a file. When I first got this out the box, of course, you're going to dry fire it and mess about with it, have some fun, which I was doing. The one thing that I did notice is that the catch, let's get this back into place first. The catch for the charging handle was a little bit rough. So what I mean is the charging handle, the little hook you see here, it's not really like a flat hook that will grab onto the receiver. It's kind of rounded like this, and what I was finding that it might do it with the MWS backing actually, because when it's got a nicely gassed mag in there, when it's got a nicely gassed magazine in there and it's empty, basically as I was firing it, this was like popping off. But it seems like the more I fire it, that problem's gone away. So it could just be there was a bit of shit in there or something, but what it also could be is that's just now grabbing onto the receiver a little bit better. Again, would be an easy fix with a file. Just put more of a 90-degree sort of angle on it to make sure it doesn't like sort of slide off with that curve on the charging handle. So this the magazine. When I took mine out the box, there was a spare screw, which is here, which looks very similar to the screws that hold the magazine together. This was spare and it was just floating around inside, and I was like, oh, the mag's broke. I don't know whether they're just assembling it in the factory and it had fell down and slot there, but yeah, spare screw if I ever need it. It does kind of look slightly familiar compared to the Guns Modified PMag, but having pulled this apart, it is not the same. It's kind of like their own design, really, and it's not bad, but I imagine this is probably where a lot of the problems are going to arise. Just they're made for a price. It's like a square little tank in there. Maybe I'll do a video on this showing how this comes apart. But these aren't cheap magazines. Obviously, these the only place I've spotted them this cheap at $349.99 is on Bespoke Airsoft. What I would do is, if after this video you're thinking about picking one up, I would shoot over there straight away and grab one. I grabbed two. I got one for me and one for a buddy. He was actually the one that said, "Oh, have you seen they've got them in stock?" So I grabbed two. Both of them shot, superbly straight out of the box. But these magazines, I think they're like £65 each, so they're not cheap, but they are a cheap magazine, if you understand me. So if it was me, the Guns Modified PMag is superior in terms of quality, but I do still have a lot of problems with these. If I leave them ungassed, the seals go in the bottom. So what I'm probably going to end up doing with my Guns Modified ones, apart from that having an issue, is just end up using like a little bit of gasket sealer like you used to do on the Mark 23 mags, just to make sure it's not really an issue in future. So maybe I'll do a video on that as well. Otherwise, just run them on the MWS magazines. These magazines are they're just solid. You pull the valve stems out, you cut them down like in my other videos, and they just run. And it's very punchy on this magazine. So they are available in black as well. So if you're not a fan of the tan, you can get them in black. They come with a black magazine to match, which is nice. So we're going to be doing some compatibility tests with this down the line, seeing what goes in, what doesn't. But I just want to run it for a bit and just mess about with it and just see what's what. I am astonished at the quality for the price. I mean, you've got to remember, what gun nowadays can you get for £349? Not a lot of gas blowbacks unless you look at, maybe some of the WE stuff. And to be honest with you, they're just paperweights. VFC, they are slowly winning me over, but they do this weird thing where they make a gun so good and then they just put like a bullshit feature in there. So predominantly I'm MWS and of course the Marui AKM. If Double Eagle, which I presume they are doing very well with this product, if they are, I hope that they decide to copy the Marui AKM, because if they do, I'll be buying one of those as well. And they've done the right thing, is when they've made the MWS copy, at one point everybody was going mad for these Noveske N4s. So they just made kind of what people were after anyway. And like I said, I had fancied a Noveske N4 after working on one which belonged to Elliot at Bavtac. And it was very, very nice. but I wasn't going to go and buy another MWS and then buy a Noveske kit and build it. It just wasn't cost effective for me. I didn't like it that much to do that. But as soon as these became available, of course, I picked one up and I'm really surprised with it. So let me know down in the comments. In fact, before we get to that, let's get on, because I'm probably going to, I know I'm going to get asked the question. You might be saying, well, you do a lot of speed loader adapters that work very well for the Maruis. Will they fit on this? Now, you'd think it would be the Guns Modify one, the PMAG one, which does go on, but it doesn't quite line up properly. In fact, they've very closely based this section here on the standard MWS magazine, so you can actually fit the standard MWS easy loader, and I'm going to show you just to prove it. We'll do that speed loader, and you'll see how delightfully easy this is to fill the magazine up. So I'm going to have to update the product description, but you want the one for the standard MWS magazines. You'll see this goes on and fits the profile very well. The only thing I'll say with the DE mags is you don't want to put, normally I put like the force at the front of the loader to push it down, which holds it all into space and aligned. You just don't want to push it down as hard. And I can actually load with this loader, so it'll kick it out when there's enough in there. I can load 37 rounds in one of these magazines, to which I know I can load 37 rounds in, so I just take 2 out and have the 35. Look how quickly I did that. So if you're picking up one of these Noveske M4s, offer my recommendation. Like I said, head over to Bespoke. I have no affiliation with Bespoke anymore, just crystal clear. I'm not getting paid for this. I bought this with my own money because I'm an airsoft enthusiast, but they've got it the cheapest right now, so head over to there and buy it off them. If you do want an easy loader, you can find them on my website at jaegerprecision.co.uk. You want the white one, just so you're aware. I will update the product descriptions. So yeah, quick video. Let me know, you guys, if you want anything specific on this platform, because I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions. Do you want, a disassembly video? Let me know down below. Do you want me to take this apart? Let me know down below. Just give me the works. I'm going to have to obviously chrono this thing and run it for a bit. This was like a pre-review of the Noveske N4 from Double Eagle, licensed by EMG, and this gets a big thumbs up from me, guys. So thanks very much for tuning into the video. I know it's been a while, and from me and Bench, as always, we'll see you in the next one.